Hello and welcome to this introduction video on higher history in Environment Community High School 2020-21. This is Mr. O'Callaghan here, and on behalf of myself, Mr. Boyle and Mrs. Dunlop, I'd like to welcome you along to the history course and thank you for choosing the subject. Obviously, I think it's very important to remember that the times that we're in, we would be doing this face-to-face. We're doing it very, very differently, but obviously we are doing the course initially online. So I think we just need to remember that it's very, very important for us all to kind of be as patient with each other as we can, to flag up any problems. It's new to me as a teacher. I'm sure it's very, very new to you as a learner. And obviously working together, hopefully we can make this the best experience as we possibly can for you, to make sure that you're not disadvantaged by having to learn this way. So it's really important to us that you do enjoy the course. Hopefully you've chosen history because you have an interest in the subject, or you've one that you feel you can do well in. We will work as hard as we can to make sure as teachers that you are as successful as possible, but obviously we need to make sure that that works both ways, that you work as hard as you can to try and be successful as well. This is just an overview, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on any of this. I also realize that my screen is going faster than I'm talking, but we'll see how that goes. So just to let you know that the exam itself is 2 papers. Both papers last 90 minutes. Obviously, I'm working on the assumption that there is an exam this year, which hopefully there will be. The first paper is an essay-based paper, and you will write 2 essays. One which will be related to a British topic, which is Britain 1851 to 1951, and the second, which is a European and world topic, which is about America 1918 to 1968. Both those topics are good ones to write essays about, which is why we've chosen them. We got good feedback on them last year, and hopefully you'll find the same this year as well. The other paper is the Scottish paper, and the topic we're going to study is Migration and Empire, 1830 to 1939. That is really around people coming to Scotland and their experiences, and Scots moving abroad and what their impact was abroad, as well as the impact on the British Empire on Scotland. That is based around source questions. You will have 4 questions you need to answer in 90 minutes. It's worth 36 marks. That's the area we're going to start on this year, and we're going to focus in on that. So we're going to do a bit of, we're not going to do lots of content before the holidays. We're going to refocus on the skills, but in order to focus on the skills, we are going to have to do a bit of content. We're also going to touch in the British section, we're going to look at something to do with women and the vote as well, because that's a good introduction topic for the British section, and it will give us a little bit of an opportunity to do some essay work as well before the holidays. The last bit, just to bring to your attention as well, is that you do have to write an assignment. It's a historical topic of your choosing, but obviously will help you make the right choice in your topic. It's written in 90 minutes under exam conditions. You can type it or you can write it. It's entirely up to you. Most people tend to choose an essay that they've already written before and just extend it out. We tend to do them in February time as well, so I just wanted to make you aware of it. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it just now. This bit here is a breakdown of essays. I'm not going to share that with you just now, but we will, obviously, that's a very important part of the course that we need to get to, and we'll look at that maybe in a future video. This is one that maybe I'm going to dwell on for a moment, which is the breakdown of marks for the Scottish paper. It's out of 36 marks. You will always have one of each of those 4 questions that are listed there, and you'll notice that they have times and marks beside them. The timings are very, very important in these questions. If, for example, you're doing an explain question, which you have allocated 19 minutes to do, if it takes you 21 minutes to do that explain question, you still have to find that time from somewhere else. So it then means potentially that you've only got 17 minutes to do one of the other questions. It really is very, very important to get your timings right in these questions. Now, obviously, it's also important to remember at this point, your timings aren't going to be right in them. It's going to take you a while to get up to speed on that. Different people will go at different paces in this, so it's very, very important to remember that you don't have to worry about how someone else is doing it. You just need to worry about how yourself are doing it, and hopefully it won't be a worry. It'll be just something that's kind of coming naturally to you as well. But we are here to support you through it. We do recognize that we're doing this quite differently this year, so please make sure that you aren't getting yourself worried or stressed about it, and if you are, just tell us so we can do something to help you. This is just kind of, I wouldn't say it's the rules of the course, but it's maybe just things for us to have a think about as we kind of progress our history. I'm not going to show all these now because they're not all important. At this moment in time, or not relevant at this moment in time. But I think probably the key thing is just history is a subject that if you work hard in, you do get rewarded. If you put a lot of effort in, you will, or I would expect you to be successful anyway. If you decide just to kind of drift your way through it, it's very, very difficult to kind of get your way back or to blag your way through history. It's one where you do have to work hard. Now, my own personal opinion is that higher is a subject that is a good one to kind of pick up marks in. It's mainly essay based, and often when I say it to people, they go, "I'm not very good at writing essays." Well, we've got a year to teach you how to write essays, and I promise you, you will be an expert in essays by the end of that year, provided you practice them. That's the key thing with this, is practice. And that means that homework is not optional this year. So if you get homework to do, you are expected to do it. If you can't do it for a particular reason, you just need to tell us so we can try and arrange an alternative way. But in return for that, any homework that you do, we will try and get back to you as quick as we can. Last year's class for essays, I had a 48-hour turnaround, and the majority of times that worked out fine for everybody. We don't need to worry about supported study or even taking notes at the moment because we're working quite differently. But what I would say, feedback is very important, particularly given the method that we're teaching. So if we are doing something that you're thinking, this is actually really working for me, or I didn't enjoy that, please make sure you tell us so we can make adjustments. Obviously, the other side of that as well, if things are working well for you or it's kind of successful for how you learn, again, please tell us that as well so we know we need to do more of that to make sure that we help you be successful. Obviously, we're doing a lot of stuff online this year, so please make sure you are part of the Teams group. Don't be afraid to comment or to ask questions on Teams. I promise you that if you ask a question, chances are that other people have the same question in mind and maybe just haven't gotten around to it or just confident enough to ask it. So please make sure that if you do have stuff you want to comment upon or question about, make sure you use Teams to do that. Obviously, a lot of your lessons will be online, as they will tend to be even when we return to school. A lot of lessons do go online anyway. I am a very active Teams user, as are Mr. Boyle and Mrs. Dunlop. So we will make sure that all your lessons go on Teams. If you do miss a lesson, please make sure you do try and catch back up. And that's just the last point. The last point, to kind of, when you look at that as a sentence, you might think, why is that there? The reason that I always include that in any PowerPoint I have is that a few years ago, my first year teaching higher, I discovered that one of my students at 2 o'clock in the morning quite regularly was calling one of their friends, getting very upset about the fact that they couldn't do the history work, but had never spoken to me about it. There will be times when you find this course hard. It's very, very important when those times come along that you ask for help and you make sure that you work your way through it by getting some support. We are here to help you, particularly given that we're doing this remotely. So please, please, please don't get yourself in the position that you are getting very upset about the fact that your history work is difficult. You need to come speak to one of us about it so we can try and help you with that. That's very important to us as well. We don't want a situation where people are getting kind of worried or worked up about history. So that's kind of why that rule is there. Please stick to it. Obviously, if there's other stuff that you kind of need us to think about, please let us know. If there's any questions or anything you want to raise on the back of this video, again, please let us know. We are here to help you and to try and make your life as easy as you possibly can. But obviously, there is an expectation you kind of work as hard as you can to try and kind of counterbalance that as well. So thanks for taking the time to listen to this video. If you have any questions or any comments on it, please let me know. Thank you.